I went in, I hadn't scrimmed against them, hadn't seen any, and I heard it too, but I was like, we'll see what happens. Scrim them, and these guys are like, it's actually like, in a loving way, it's like three crackheads and two very stable forces.
Welcome everybody to the first episode of Pros in Summer. And we have a lot of, I guess, new faces coming into the split. Srtty, we got Zeyzal, and we got Denathor. I guess I mentioned it immediately right out the get-go. Like a lot of you guys, I mean, Srtty, technically you came in the last few weeks of the previous split.
Yes.
But you are now starting as the starting top laner for Disguise. And you got, I think both you and Denathor just came in from Korea. Did you go to Korea at all, Zeyzal?
Yeah, I was there from like June 25th to July 10th, so solid 2 weeks.
Nice. How was that process? Did you guys scrim against each other, or was it primarily solo queue?
We scrimmed each other one time.
Yeah, DSG and us scrimmed one time for sure.
How was that?
Oh, it was okay. It went 3-3, so it's pretty
like
close.
three or two idiots fighting it out. Yeah,
basically.
It was like bar for bar equal.
What do you feel like the takeaway was?
I'm not sure we had a particular takeaway. I mean, both teams probably were testing out like the chaotic MSI metas we were watching and EWC metas. So probably just talking more about like, let's not do that next time as you grief the game.
Yeah. Denathor, you went to Korea. Was this your first time going to Korea for solo queue? Have you done it prior?
I went in 2024 at the end of the year, once before. Barely didn't get Challenger, but this time I got it.
Hell yeah.
With a few days to spare.
Did you guys on Dignitas get a few scrims, or is this primarily like coming in as a team?
I was just there by myself. Didn't actually know I was going to the LCS. I was just there to play solo queue and get better.
That's crazy. So you just thought it would just be great for you to be able to like find point to grow personally?
Yeah, I was just there to practice before the second NACL split.
So were both times you went just self-funded?
Yeah.
That's some dedication.
God. That is dedication. You mentioned it right there, I guess, like coming in, you were on Winthrop, coming in from the NACL. I guess a lot of you guys have had similar experiences coming in through NACL. I mean, both you and Srtty had CLL experience. Do you guys feel like there has been, talk about the structural difference it is on the teams that you've been prior and then going to a collegiate team? Is there a big structural difference for you guys? Like in terms of just like how you structure meetings and scrims or the seriousness?
I mean, for me, I've only been on Winthrop for 4 years. And then before that, I was on a team for like a month. So it's been just basically one team for me. So the structure hasn't been changed much.
Okay.
I've been on a lot. I've probably been on like, I don't know, 12, 15 teams maybe. Like I've been around the block. But I'd say it really depends mostly on the players. The LCS orgs that I've been a part of in Tier 2 have been a bit more professional, a bit more set up, especially because I was playing in 2022 and 2023 where some teams still had in-person rosters. So that was definitely more professional. I'd say for the most part though, especially nearing the end, Tier 2 became like really lax. They still put in a lot of effort, but it seems like you can't do it as the sole thing anymore. There has to be something else going on in your life, either school or work or something. And because of that, I think there's a little less emphasis unless you're on one of the teams that's trying to fight for the promotion slot.
Yeah.
I mean, Denathor would probably know more than that about me because he played this year. But since the promotion slot got like included, I've never played in Tier 2, so.
I did play 2024 or 2025? 2025. So I played a full year with it. And I mean, honestly, it's kind of funny, but it's a real uphill battle because the guest slot in LCS actually has access to like much more funds than these Tier 2 teams. When you talked about a Tier 2 team going all out, these players are, man, I don't want to say numbers since I don't know. This is a Riot podcast, but it's not very impressive. Let's just say McDonald's pays more, but these guys still put in all their effort. It's really hard to compare the quality that you get from like a Tier 1 coaching staff, just resources alone, and access to Tier 1 players. Like my example is, instead of you facing Scary Jerry, who is good, by the way, I still think that, they pulled in Rahel from EU, so a Korean import, and that was mid-year.
Yeah.
We just won NACL first split, and then we're like, yeah, I guess we're against Rahel now. And Rahel was really good at that time, like a huge upgrade for that roster, which was DSG, and made it very hard for us to win. So that was interesting.
True. Because like I remember watching you guys go through that whole year through Luminosity. and it was like, oh, this team is incredibly strong. And then DSG just made the swap.
Yeah.
What was your team's reaction the moment you saw that?
Well, we weren't sure how good Rahel was because obviously the rumor was he was benched and no one really knew why. Apparently it was for communication errors. I guess we need a shot calling 80 carry somewhere. Works for me, but it was kind of nothing. And then we realized like we were watching and DSG like slowly had this comeback where they played it was like a tournament that was optional, not playoffs, but they went really like fairly deep in that.
Yeah.
Was it one of the esports World Cup or
For
events?
DSG? I don't know what it was.
Last
actually.
year. I just know they were like looking a lot stronger, and their roster is essentially Sentinels now,
Yeah.
but with no Impact, no Hambach. They had Exu and Castle, so they were a strong team, and we were also a pretty good team, but we were taking like a pretty lax way of, as he said, we were scrimming 5 days on. If it was a match day, 4 days compared to LCS. Every team does at minimum 5 days on, 1 day off, 1 match day.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a big difference in not only quality, but also the amount of practice from tier 1 to tier 2.
That's true, because you've been around in terms of esports. You like, when I talk about tier 2, I remember in your Shopify podcast, you talked about like the early days of esports. Do you feel like it's kind of going back to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, for sure it is to some degree. I think that there's this really interesting transition where obviously Riot is allowing more third-party tournaments. There's more access to just like random things you can do outside of the LCS. And it's a way for tier 2 teams and random players to actually get recognized. So I think right now the only system is really NACL, which is, I mean, Srtty, you came up through a different system that was changed, but
Yeah.
Denathor is like exclusively NACL was where he was recognized. And I think it'll be interesting because there's going to be a shift where these random tournaments, teams will randomly do well, and you're like, oh, maybe this guy's not bad.
True. And I think it's a good point to talk to you about Denathor, about your debut, because that was perhaps the biggest conversation, surprise from a lot of people, and a lot of, I guess, excitement that you're being picked up from CLAW/NACL to LCS. How has that experience been for you so far?
Definitely changing. Like compared to tier 2, it's just completely different. Like Srtty was saying, it's just really lax. Like there's not as much effort that goes into it. Like I know a lot of players, won't say like specific people, but they just don't care. They're just there to play.
In the tier 2 side,
And
right?
Yeah. And they'll just play. And if they win, they win. If they lose, they don't really care at all. And they just go on about their day. But in tier 1, like everyone's trying a lot harder and there's a lot more time put into it.
How is that? Because that would feel frustrating. Someone that's you're literally paying out of your pocket to go to Korea to like improve yourself, and then you come back to, and I'm not, of course, there's no names, but being in an environment where everyone has different goals versus in LCS where everyone's on the same kind of focus.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging because you're on a team, but at the end of the day, like all that matters is yourself because you're trying to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just had to focus on myself and get rid of the frustration that some people just don't care because you can't really change that at the end of the day.
Yeah. How's it been flying from? Where is Winthrop? I am American illiterate. I've
South
been in America for
Carolina.
how long?
30 minutes from Charlotte, if you know
Okay.
where Charlotte is.
Yeah.
East Coast.
And coming into LA, what's been the biggest kind of like culture shock?
There's a lot more food over here than on the East Coast. You have like some fast food, like 1 or 2 local restaurants, a Mexican place. And then over here you have absolutely everything.
Yeah.
That's definitely a lot better. But I grew up on the East Coast like my entire life.
Mhm.
So it's nice getting a change.
Makes sense. And so coming in, scrimming, first stage game, has that felt like natural to you, or is there some nerves there?
Definitely some nerves game 1. That was like, I think I bought 2 Retrix on Jake's. My mouse has rapid trigger, so I double clicked it and it just instantly bought 2.
Yeah.
I didn't notice. And then I had some questionable plays for sure, but I think game 2 and game 3 got over them mostly.
Have you guys had a previous experience with Denathor? I know in the Shopify podcast you talked a little bit.
Yeah, I have. So for me, like, it was kind of funny with Winthrop because I feel like no one really considered them good, but they always were able to find wins. And like, it's like one of those cases where you look at a team and you're like, I don't really know how they win, but against us, they would always like get random ass 3 to 4K gold leads and play pretty well, and then they inevitably
I'm
lose.
remembering a game against Luminosity where I was on Camille and we had like this insane team comp, and it was like at 15 minutes we were up like 7K gold, and it was just unlosable, and then we lost.
Yeah, I remember you guys lost pulling Baron, I think, topside river. That was, yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I kind of recognized, like, more in hindsight that for tier 2, Fake God was really good.
Yeah.
And, like, I underrated so many of these top laners because even now, like, Fake God is good. When he went up against Castle, it was like Castle didn't even exist in our DSG series. Like, not in a bad way. They just were, like, equal. So it was really easy for me to play, so I underappreciated a lot of tops. But in general, I think that's a trend with tier 2 that I've realized with, like, Darkwings, Srtty, you as well, where like you don't really know how good a player is till they get access to like actual coaching staff. Like their first good coach is what determines if a player actually has it, like the GOAT status capability. I don't think it's like age, because like Darkwings comes up and he's just like, in tier 2, Darkwings wasn't considered good. No one really like, he wasn't considered bad. He was always on mid-tier teams, but when you plan a tier 2 roster to win, you don't put Darkwings at the top of the list. But then he comes in LCS, gets access to decent coaching staff, or good, I don't really know, but better.
Yeah.
And then he's actually doing really well now.
I said Isaac was our best player on Slew when we won CLOL.
What year was that?
This was 2024.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
thought
right
Isaac was
before
our
he
best
went
player.
to, yeah, that's really neat.
It's right before he went to Winthrop and played with us for a split.
Oh, I remember that actually. Yeah.
So you guys both have
Wait,
experience.
you have
with
both
that.
have experience with
That's
them?
pretty
I mean,
My
Isaac
debut
slept on my
split
couch
and-
for a month. For CLOL, yeah. He just slept on my couch for a month because we all went to boot camp in St. Louis together. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met. He's a genuinely really, really great down-to-earth guy.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
My debut NACL split, which started against Srtty, unfortunately. That was not a good series for me. But I played with Darkwings, and yeah, like Srtty said, he's a really good guy. I really liked having him as a teammate. He's good.
Yeah.
And he was really passionate, and he would take notes on the side of the screen. I saw a lot, and he was like trying really hard.
Yeah.
Can't say the same for my other teammates.
One of the big things I said to Sentinels when, because this year the spot was between me and Impact, and one thing I talked to them about when they asked me what I thought about about Darkwings is that he plays better when he's under pressure, and I think that's a really valuable thing to have as a player. It feels like the nerves make him better.
That does make sense. And this kind of goes back to your response, Srtty, to the idea of when you were on like academy rosters for like FlyQuest, that was like a really professional environment, right? Like I want you to, okay, maybe not really. Let's unpackage that a little bit, because I think it makes sense with the conversation we're having here, where you get to an organization where it feels like you can get a chance. But now I want to know what that reaction is about.
What was your teammates, just for context?
Shaden,
Oh my god.
Wad, Sajed, and Chime.
Okay.
Nice.
So it was not bad for sure.
Good players.
Good players, definitely good players. A little bit of internal strife, some communication issues at times. I would work with most of them again. I had a good time. I mean, we won, so can't really complain. I will say, especially after Quad left and we brought Bradley in, we basically there was a period where we just stopped scrimming completely, because I think mentals were getting so bad on the team that it was better not to scrim. I wouldn't call it too professional, but I would say we definitely tried.
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying really hard. Every day I'd breathe the league. I'd walk back from the like computer room that we had at the school I was going to, SLU, at 2 a.m. through St. Louis in the middle of the night. No mercy. Completely fine, by the way.
I think the story about the stopping scrims, like the mental kind of challenges, is an interesting one. I will turn this to you, Denathor, as a question, because I think anyone that comes into LCS, there's a question mark of like, what environment are you on? If the pressure is a lot, like you're losing a lot, like I want to know how do you feel like the current environment is on Dignitas joining it?
It's been pretty good so far, yeah. I think all my teammates have been respectful, and they've also all been pretty passionate, but there hasn't been any crashing out or anything like that. I didn't watch too much of Dignitas' games prior, but I did see XU's interview before I joined the team.
Yeah,
I was
thoughts on
kind of
that?
debating, and I was like, I don't know if I should join this team or not after seeing that one. But it's been good. I like my team so far.
My
a lot.
advice for a rookie top laner promoting into a roster that, I mean, at the moment isn't that good, is the only thing that matters is how you yourself look inside of the games that you're playing. That'll help you join a better team in the future if your team doesn't do well. Obviously, that doesn't mean like focus on only yourself. Don't play towards win conditions and stuff. But
Yeah.
you need to put a lot of emphasis on the fact that if like something that would happen on Dig for me, for example, was in the swaps, I'd always have my wave taken from me. So I'd end up being down like 15 CS every game because on the swaps, I just lose farm on
It's a
repeat.
Winthrop Classic.
And I ended up getting blamed for that, which was kind of unfair. But you need to be able to stand your ground and say what it is that you need and what resources you need for your game. And you can't let people say things like, oh no, I'd rather take this Gromp when they can dive the enemy top laner. You have to be firm, I guess, and make sure that your opinion is heard and known.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're really accountable in a way to like how you get played around, I'd say, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, you are.
And
if you
I think
roll
that's
over,
important.
You're just going to get walked over.
It's
Yeah.
so common that top laners, the quieter they are, the more they get bullied, by
Yep.
the way. It's crazy. You always bully the quietest top laners. I remember just like the way we worked around Fake God would be like, if he doesn't say anything, we're just doing what we want and just he's adjusting to us.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how top has been for a long time,
That's how
right?
it should be. The top laners should say what they need inside of the game. Like
Yeah.
you as the
Yeah.
support when you're playing Camille shouldn't have to guess if you should come top or not level 1. Or if you need a water lane bush, they should be telling you this. And
Yeah, the way I've learned to work with Fudge is just like, it's really nice. I mean, he's very vocal, that's well known, but he actually says exactly what he needs. And if you say it's like not possible, all he says is, okay, I'll figure it out. It's not like, he doesn't get mad. He understands the context of the game is dynamic.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't cover every top play that they can make, and that's why these support picks kind of work, or they don't really know. But yeah, basically, he says everything he needs. Any chance we have to dive top, he'll say it, and it's really nice to play with a top laner that's like this. I think on the other side, you can be a really good player and be underappreciated. Like, I still think Fake God was really good.
Yes. I was actually going to bring this up because when we were just talking about like silent top laners that are really good, I remember being a part of Academy in like 2020, and Fake God was like the top 3 top laners alongside Fudge, and even Darshan that was there too. And I think a lot of it is just being vocal and fighting for yourself. So actually, you being a veteran support who is on the opposite side of things, that kind of wants to be positioning their bot lane to be in a better position, but knowing what you want your top laner to say, but being around rookies. My question to you is like, how do you work on that in environments like that, where you feel like your top laner is not saying what you feel like they should be?
For me, when I work with the team, I think this is part of why I had so much success in tier 2 is I always say like everyone has a job within the game, and your job is to know your goal is to know what your job is at every moment. It sounds really simple, but basically your job changes pretty rapidly in the game. So
I agree with that.
And really what it comes down to is like when you have the resources, it's your job to utilize them. So let's say like I say like I have tempo and enemy support here, and Fudge has a good position on top. He's going to always say to me like, you can come top here and we can dive, or we can look to burn his flash, something like that. And it's your job to use the resources available to you in the game. But I also think you have to be okay, because some players, they have a vision of the game, and if you like disrupt it slightly, they legit lose their minds. Not
Yeah.
like in comms, but they just like will play the same way as if you do have those resources.
Yep.
Sounds like you're hearing this
Yeah.
and it's like, I'm connecting the dots. My own experiences.
Yeah, I've had a few people like teammates like that for sure.
Fair enough.
Won't go any farther
No
than that.
names. But yeah, just everyone has to know their job, especially at a pro level. And so when I worked with Meech and Young in 2023, I really like emphasized to them, like, if you just ask me, I can tell you what your job is at any point. But what I want you to do is learn your job so you don't have to ask. And then if you are lost in game, I'm always going to tell them what I think they should do.
Yeah.
But by default, you shouldn't have to. League is not a game where people actually micromanage. Like at a really high level, Inspired might do it a little bit, but when you listen to a Lyon game, I can't imagine Inspired's actually micromanaging more than like a couple times a game where he's like, hey, I'm trying to do this play, so you should do this.
Yeah.
But generally, everyone knows their job according to the team plan at a high level, and the more you have that down, it's so much easier to play League of Legends as a team, and it makes everyone look better.
Let's make it about, I guess, today's circumstances for you guys, because of course you guys played up against each other. But I'm gonna ask more about like the background behind it. How has it been? I'll start with you, Srtty. How has it been for you now? You had your Korean boot camp. You've come in and scrimmed, and then of course playing versus Shopify Rebellion, and it was like a tougher loss.
I'd say some of the same issues that we have in scrims happen on stage today, specifically when we die bot at the tier 2. We're not syncing our Baron waves, which is something that you guys did very well in game 1. We weren't syncing our Baron waves, which gave you guys an engaged timer that you shouldn't have been able to get. Obviously, Zig shouldn't walk up and satch with a tower when Nars Mega on the right side of him and Vise in front with, Q and ulti. But
It's like a paragraph.
yeah, but at the end of the day, this is an issue that happens not just to like Sajed, but to our team in general. We very consistently get leads in the early game. I'd say game 2 was more of an anomaly for us where we didn't have one. But usually versus almost every team, like we scrimmed C9 and Lyon this week, and I'd say we had a lead in the early game in almost every game. But we struggle with reading tempo, specifically when we're down in up tempo, and closing out the leads. It's something we really have to work on a lot. I think that you guys did a pretty good job of punishing us on that today. I think it was probably because you guys were communicating a lot with each other on when you had tempo, when you had timers to do stuff, that kind of thing. But I'm obviously very sad we lost today. I thought that even though we were making these mistakes, I didn't think that you guys would punish us on them as well as you did. I think you had a comp that was very good at doing it with the Vi and the Camille. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I think I played way under what I've been playing in scrims as well. In scrims, I'm having games very often where I'm just up like 30, 40, 50 CS in lane versus people. But then today on stage, for some reason, I played a lot worse than I normally do. Mm-hmm. And I also wasn't as vocal as I normally am because, like, for example, when Zeyzal came behind me as Nautilus, we saw you enter the jungle. My Pantheon's on Raptors with ulti, and Jace has no flash melee queuing onto me. So we can kill him before Nautilus can get in range, but I'm not saying this in game. And it's not my jungle's fault for not coming if I don't say it, right?
Yeah.
That's completely on me. I'm just
Back to
inting.
the jobs, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just absolutely inting. But yeah, my communication was bad today, and I think I need to step it up. Like, that's, like, on a personal level, I think I laned fine. I think I was winning lane in both games, 1v1. But at the end of the day, League is a team game, and laning really doesn't matter that much. If you know what your job is and you have a slight deficit in lane, it doesn't matter at all. Like, what is it, a longsword?
Yeah, I really could not tell you. I just played those games, and I could not tell you who was winning top lane.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was close enough that it doesn't matter. If it's close enough, it's just better team will win.
It's within like 5-10 CS.
Yeah.
So then it's like whoever's fastest to plays, whoever's making the right TP calls, etc.
Yeah.
And Fudge did a really good job today of playing team fights and playing the map. So respect to him.
And for the Shopify side, kind of mentioned it, but at least this looked like a much different Shopify than what I saw from last split. Obviously, you weren't there last split, but I thought it was like the team was generally not on the same page. But I felt like that was a big difference this time around.
Yeah, there's something really unique about this team where, for me, there's actually a lot of good plans that get made, but these are like, I used to joke with one of my original teams that like, there's plans and there's masterpieces, and I feel like it's when you overplan and you start like trying to make a masterpiece. I feel like that's like a bad habit some of them get. That's my job's just like, hey guys, I'm coming top, we're gonna play top side, right? It's not even like I'm making big plans. It's just I'm saying where we're going with our resources, and the game like plays itself at a pretty basic level at that point.
Yeah.
If all your resources are on top, you're gonna fight top side, right? When they try to take your zone, things like that. But yeah, I would say what they struggled with before was just like, honestly, some of the basic info and conveying it to each other, because they had 3 players that they have acceptable English, but it's easy to miss context when you're making bigger plans of like, what is our basic goal when we get somewhere, or what are we doing? And sometimes I don't even know what we're doing still.
Yeah.
Like I'll just watch my little jungler get up to no good, or my mid laner, and I'm just like, what the hell's going on here? I'm sure everyone in this podcast here feels the same about their teammates still, even in LCS, which is hilarious. But that's like a problem every team has. You just do random garbage, and it's about stopping that garbage and then minimizing it, and then you slowly become a good team, is what I've realized.
Yeah. I mean, especially since it's the first week in summer, like literally all of your guys' teams has changed. For you, Denathor, you came in, and you guys had a close series versus Sentinels. At least it went to 3. That one game, I think it was like Palafox had like that pop-off Orianna game. How is that? You kind of mentioned it a little bit, but how was that series for you?
It's mostly just focused on myself. It was like kind of a jarring experience. So I didn't feel like, especially game one, didn't feel like I was playing League to a certain point. But I think people expected Sentinels to win pretty hard. But I think we have a lot higher potential than people think.
Mm-hmm.
And behind the scenes, the team is not as crazy as it might seem. But, yeah.
I want to get into the other teams. Before I do, I want to make a reminder for people out there that Summer Split has just started, but tickets are already available for LCS Championships on October 3rd and 4th in the greater Atlanta area at the Gas South Arena. Link is going to be in the description for you guys if you want more information. So please check it out. Any of these guys could be there. So please do. It'll be a good time.
Raz will be there. Right.
I will 100% be there.
Okay. Maybe I'll go. I mean, I'll probably won't go now.
Where's the confidence? Week one.
No, I just meant I don't want to go now.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
That was just me scouting out the field.
Yeah. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Are you wearing a jacket or is that just one sweater?
Dude, that's a comfy sweater.
That is so cool.
It is nice.
That is so cool, by the way.
Because this room could be very, very cold at some points.
It's kind of chilly. It does look cool, honestly.
Yeah.
That's a nice sweater.
Yeah,
I will
got something
say,
on top.
this is a self-report. I have no idea if this is my wardrobe, if I stole this from LCS. I have no clue.
Wait, you took it home? Just yours now?
Usually I don't. I don't have this.
This might have to be.
It must be. Because I swear to God, I would never purchase this in my life, but I've taken it home. So
We might have to take it from
Cheers
his
now.
wardrobe.
Yeah, me too.
yeah, just putting that out there. Let's talk about some of the other teams because we mentioned it a bit. Lyon versus Fly. Specifically for Lyon, Armeo came in for Inspired. Inspired said that he'll be coming in week 2, week 3, personal reasons, but it's nothing bad. But they just smashed. Didn't really matter. Did you guys watch that? And just your thoughts on Lyon, because Srtty, I'm asking you because you've had experience where you've been on the same organization with Inspired. I know everybody's expectation was that he's the CEO, no Inspired, no winning, but it didn't really feel like that at all.
Well, he's the CEO, but he's not enough of a CEO that if you remove him from the equation, his 4 teammates were all playing extremely well off of a MSI run where they go 5 games against HLE won't be able to come back and put up a damn good fight against any NA team.
Yes.
I think that credit to Inspired, he's very, very good. And honestly, when I played with him in scrims, because I would sub a lot for the FlyQuest team in 2024, it was like if you've ever played Call of Duty, it's kind of like having a UAV. Where there's just the little blips on the map show up and you just know where everybody is. Well, at least for me, I know where the jungler is whenever I want, and that's very helpful for me, knowing when I have to crash my wave, trade, etc. Right? He's giving me the information, so game becomes really easy. But all the players on Lyon are good. Dokla is not the strongest laner, but as we talked about earlier, if you're down 10 CS in lane as a top laner, it's really irrelevant for the game. He's very good at knowing what his job is inside of the game at any given time. He knows when to send it. He knows when to play slow. He knows which bushes he has to hold in team fights. That's the kind of thing he does very well, and I think he also brings a lot of a very positive atmosphere to the team. Like from how I've seen him interact, he seems like a very positive, very energetic guy.
Yeah.
Saint is just a complete beast mechanically. I played with him, so he's the GOAT. And Berserk is the best ADC in the league, and Niles is looking like a top 3 support pretty easily.
Yeah. It was interesting specifically because when Armeo came in, I was like, okay, that's interesting. I want to see how much solo queue is he playing? But a lot of it is just top lane.
He's a top laner now.
He's a top laner.
So, yeah, Armao is. Yeah, my understanding is he's just here to have a good old time. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of people. I mean, even in my situation, Shopify needs the support. People don't realize how hard it is to meet the requirements of getting someone to play in the LCS quickly right now because visa situations are difficult.
True.
You're only looking at United States players. People don't realize that. Canadian visas are still hard.
Yeah.
You're only looking at United States players. And a lot of the people just say no. Even if you ask, there's tier 2 players that are locked down. Those take away a lot of options.
True.
So it's I was telling them, look through everyone. And then they came to me. I told them, I don't want to do it unless you go through literally every option. They were completely out of options within a day. And I'm sure Lyon's the same thing where they look at Armao, he's playing top lane in solo queue and as a collegiate top laner.
Yeah.
And they're just yep, he's our best option.
Yeah, I mean,
and he is.
There are no junglers for them to take at all.
Yeah, he actually is.
Not American ones. I know that they asked some other people, but there were also tier 2 players. There's just no one.
Yeah.
But also Armel is just I think he's good at League of Legends. So
His play style, he can play jungle and do well and stay even no matter
I
what.
played on a team with him too, and I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
What team was that actually?
EG challenges.
Oh,
We
true.
played
We went top
finals
2.
against each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
He kind of beat me.
Yeah, all
Pretty
chatted
hard.
you.
Yep.
You
I
were
know.
kind of a beast then, though. I knew once
Thank you.
it was your Jax, right? Once
Yeah.
you lost on Jax, I was like, yeah, this is a free
Okay.
win, free series.
Just saying, in that game, I was 1v2ing your top jungle. I thought it was a free win.
It should have been, but that's why I knew it was cooked for you guys.
Also, I was versus Fake God, right?
Yeah.
He was playing really well that year,
Yeah, he had
especially on Renekton.
yeah.
He was a very, very good Renekton player that year.
that matchup. A lot of people wouldn't play it, right? The Renekton side,
Yeah.
and especially against your Jax for tier 2 is like unbeatable.
Yeah.
He just
That's how
didn't
we
care.
won every series, actually. I think I didn't lose a single Jax game in the lower bracket all the way up to finals.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you had the long run in the lower bracket.
Yes.
That was a crazy one. My question, because this is interesting. That is good to know the lore, especially behind Armeo. And Armeo was definitely holding his own. And I wonder, do you think this Lyon without Inspired is good enough to be able to take on like a Team Liquid?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think that they can definitely make it competitive at the very least. Will they win? I don't know for sure, but I think that it would be kind of disrespectful to the other players on the team to say that it would be a wash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they could definitely be competitive. It's hard to say if they'd win. The only thing like I'd be concerned about with Armao is like if it goes to a neutral mid game, but he has pretty good laners, especially mid bot.
Yeah.
If it goes to a neutral mid game, I mean he has been playing top mostly, so I feel like he's probably not going to be as sharp in like these mid game, late game standoffs around dragons and things like that.
Yeah.
So I would favor TL at least. But I think right now they're probably easily the second strongest, maybe the strongest with Armao in too.
True.
It's mostly Armao, let's be honest.
Yeah. What's funny is like FlyQuest was someone that we were really excited for going into the split because they had played in the Soup tournament in Korea, and they did look good at the end of last split. That was not a great series from them. I don't know if you guys had the chance to see it.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw the Silas spot getting solo killed by the J spot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the whole Jace flex thing is interesting. I think that something that isn't done, which credit should be given to their coaches as well. Even though me and Rigby definitely had our differences on Dig, he's a really, really good drafter. He's a really creative drafter. And I think that he gives the team a lot to work with in that way. So I think the drafts were honestly pretty good. I think game 2 was closer than people are giving FlyQuest credit for. They were ahead at some points, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know why it was as one-sided as it was. I think that you'd expect Gakkos to come out a bit further ahead on Dokla, and he wasn't able to.
Yeah.
And that makes it a little more difficult as well.
What's your guys' expectation, Denathor? Do you have an expectation of FlyQuest coming into this split?
Not really, to be honest.
Mhm.
I think I did kind of expect them to win that game because I don't think Armeo is that good, to be honest.
Mhm.
Like I don't think he'll fill the role that Inspired was doing to any extent. At least from what I've seen of him, he's like okay, but like now at least.
Yeah.
And as a top laner, he just got
Wait,
him out
you
of that
faced
role,
him?
to be
You
honest.
faced
I
him?
did face him.
Oh
It
shoot.
was like 3 20-minute games, complete wash.
Oh my
At
God.
midnight, after playing 2 series that day, we had to play at a LAN that they forced us to play at midnight.
That is
And they
crazy.
got-
At midnight?
They got completely ran
Okay.
in 60 minutes, but that doesn't say anything about his jungle, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'll be a top 2 team if they have Armao the whole split, which
Mhm.
they won't.
Yeah, it's just for the first couple of weeks, which I think you guys are going to be facing them.
We play them next week.
Yeah.
So with Armao.
We played on 3rd week, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 3rd week as well for you. So that'll be interesting. We'll see what the timeline looks like and if they can be as consistent. They're definitely very chaotic without Inspired, which is a funny
Yes.
point.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna load into that week saying better jungle will win. I mean, maybe that'll motivate my jungler. He likes to slack when given the opportunity. So
Yeah.
you got to set boundaries, set rules. Better jungle wins next week.
Are you cracking the whip in the?
Yep, I'm putting that statement out there now. Better jungle will win in Lyon versus Shopify.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like that.
my jungler better perform if he wants to be considered better than Armao. But that's nothing to scoff at, Armao.
True. Let's talk about. It's funny because like, Zeyzal, I'm going straight back to you because C9 is doing their 7-man roster, I feel like when you started out in your career on C9 as well, weren't they doing the same thing?
Yeah, I actually thought about this a lot, but I realized a lot of the value of 7-man was that we were actually just a 10-man, but 3 players knew they were like never going to play unless it was a punishment to the main player.
Yeah.
So one time I got benched as a punishment. So I think it was Diamond or Fang got moved up. I was late and I was protesting, like getting in trouble for being late.
Yeah.
But so I got benched for the day. But anyway, the difference is when let's say Sven, APA, Loki, Tactical, whoever's sitting out that day, they're not going to get anything from watching scrims. At that point, they would just watch LCK VODs or like point of view VODs of really good players in their role. So the difference is we could scrim on the second team. We were always scrimming, both teams every day.
Yeah.
So it was a huge difference that I think really made the 7-man a lot more valuable because it was really, like I said, a 10-man.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if a 7-man has the same effect with 2 players just getting half the scrim time objectively.
That's a good point. Because at least in China, I remember China for sure because RNG did this whole thing with like Karsa and MLXG. And a lot of teams will do that idea of trying to flex like a 6-man. And the 6-man is just sitting there watching the game with the coach. But like, how much are they actually getting out of that? Is my question. You don't think they're going to be getting too much in comparison to just scrimming instead?
I think what they're really doing is just finding out which player's better.
Yeah.
And they won't have 2 different identities based on players. They're just going to say, this guy's better, and then they're going to run that person until the other one looks like a real big noob, and then they're going to say, this is why we have a 7-man. Put a little pressure, and then the better player will always get the spot. It's not 2 different strategies. The only reason I think C9 had 2 different strategies back in 2018 with the 7-man was partially because we had 2 like distinct play styles.
Yeah.
Because Blabber was like chaotic, very, very wild, and
Svenskeren, I think.
Jensen was very solid, right?
Yeah.
That was like the combo. Jensen had really good laning, but he didn't want to do anything. So he needed like brought around the map to chaos. He was like, you could say he was Blabber's minion, but really, I mean, technically, he needed Jensen really bad.
Yeah.
And then there was the like strong Svenskeren talks about what he wants, says it very clearly, and Golden Glue just plays for it because he's down to move his lead anywhere he wants. Whereas Jensen struggled with that more. So it was like a really nice pairing. But for me, there's no mix in pairings there that can be made because Tactical and Sven, I feel like their strengths are pretty similar to me. It's just like you're choosing which AD carries better. And then APA and Loki, there is a difference there.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how you would utilize it in like a 6 or 7-man. I'm not quite sure. Maybe like red side mage flexes to mid because APA is more known for like his zigs, that type of thing.
I mean, Loki's definitely better at the melee mids if they want to play melee mid laners.
Yeah, that's true too. But
Like
I guess that goes back to my point. When do you see them using, if they consider Loki to be the better player, when do you see them using APA?
I'm not sure. I don't know why you would. Like, I remember CFO did this with Rust and Driver, but the thing is they had 2 very clear identities where one would play tank, one would play carry. And I feel like the mid champion pools and like ADC champion pools especially are like too melded together. You can't like fracture the identities like that. Either you think one's better or you don't.
Yeah. And the weird thing with Driver and Rest was when you go into a draft, you kind of really can't plan ahead what your draft is going to be.
Yeah.
Like there was one game where Rest just had to play Ornn. So it felt weird in that situation where they're like, oh, damn, we brought you in to be the carry guy. But this game definitely needs an Ornn in the top lane. So that even that one is like tough to think about. Actually, from CLOL, I'm sure there's a lot of fluctuations in like players that come in and out.
We actually had a 10-man roster on Winthrop, like right when I started.
Yeah.
There was 10 players, and I can say that was a disaster.
Who
Especially
were you
that
competing for top lane?
it was my bud at the time. He actually
bud.
took my spot.
Really?
Yeah, my first like when I competed on Mirage Alliance for one split is because he took my spot because the Ganasso was our coach at the time, and he didn't know which player was better because we were screaming. And my bud was playing really well at the time. Like that was the only time he ever like played that well. And so he could.
It's the motivation factor.
Damn.
He's a good player, not like going down.
I
on
think
him.
if I had to choose
But-
Denathor or Mabud for my top laner, it's a pretty easy choice. It's not
Yeah,
Mabud.
For most of
It's
the
not.
time, it was me clearly, but then he was like shining really well, so it was hard to differentiate. And
Yeah, I gotcha.
the coach had just come in, and so he took my spot for a split or two, and I played with Mirage Alliance. and then I came back shortly after. But there was a lot of disasters with that 10-man roster. Mobility was subbed out once for ZKG going into a LAN like, because there was like communication errors. And the coach was just like, all right, Mobility, you got to go. And then we just got completely ran.
God
And the
damn.
director called up, like, get him back in. And then we lost again. And we went right back. We had lost a slew that year at the LAN.
Shoot.
It was a disaster.
What do you feel like made a disaster? Because you mentioned some disaster examples. But what do you feel like didn't make it feasible?
Like he said, there's no scrims for the second, like, 5-man roster, at least for us.
Yeah.
And then you don't know. These coaches don't know how good these players are. They're tier 3 players, some tier 2 players. Like, you have no clue what you're getting.
Yeah.
You play one scrim with them, you can't really differentiate one scrim
Yeah.
for the players. And then they think they can diagnose a problem, and then they think they can diagnose what will fix that problem.
Yeah.
And so they just throw it in, hope it works. And it most of the time won't work
Yeah.
for what they're trying to fix. And I remember when I first came to Winthrop, we won like, I want to say like 20 scrims in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And then we played one random tournament and lost to a really good, it was like wild card or something. I don't remember the team. And 2 players got benched going into a LAN.
Yeah.
And it just made no sense.
Do we have confidence that it's going to work out for C9? Because I feel like the consensus is that we don't
Hopefully
like the concept.
The coaching staff has a bit more idea of how to work it.
Yeah.
I do
Winthrop.
think, well, first I got to say, I mean, I would put my bud in too. I mean, he's my bud. But moving on, I had to. I couldn't
All right,
resist.
fair enough.
Okay. But I do think eventually they're just going to stop giving scrim time to one half and still say they're a 7-man. Like, that's just the natural progression of things.
Yeah.
We did that on C9 in 2018, 2019. We're like, yeah, we're still a 7-man. Meanwhile, I think back to like the last time X players in scrims. Like, I think Blabber played multiple matches with like no weeks of scrims, and he always performed. So credit to Blabber back then. He was the GOAT for us. Our clutch little
Nice.
jungler,
That is crazy.
little fish. But yeah, I think that tends to happen. I assume that happened to you guys too with your 10-man. Like, eventually you just have better players that get all the time.
Yeah, it was hard though because the coach would have a little bit of favoritism, and
Yeah.
he would put in players that people didn't want.
Mhm.
We ended up having like this guy or this guy. The other guy just disappeared. There was actually multiple of those, but
Jesus. How long do you guys think it would take before, or would you want, if you were in C9's position, to just cut it off?
I think giving half a split is pretty generous. I think that C9 constantly talk about themselves as people who want to compete internationally. Nobody really cares how they play in the regular season.
Yeah.
But I think if you make a change too late into the regular season, then you won't have the synergy for playoffs and the international. So I think you definitely have to make the decision way sooner rather than later. I think you have like 3-4 weeks, maybe before. They announced it on broadcast today. There's something going on in week 6 where you go to Mexico.
We're going to Mexico.
Before
Yeah.
then, I think.
I think
that's like the cutoff.
some teams actually get a bye week because of that, or is it all teams?
That's a good question. I still need to figure that out, but I think it's just I
That's
think
okay.
some teams do get a
Yeah.
bye
So
too.
what
There's
I
going to be a
think,
super week 5, and then
Yeah,
teams will
okay,
have a bye
that's
week
yeah.
6.
so what makes sense to me in like figuring it out is you have to remember a lot of your practice is actually front loaded because you don't want to go into the split rusty.
Yeah.
But the split is a set duration. You can't really extend it. So a lot of practice has already been done.
Yeah.
By the time week 1 hits, like, what is that? Probably like 20% of your practice, maybe a little more,
Yep.
is actually done. So when you say week 4, midway through the split, that's probably a little past halfway of your practice too. So even that's like kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure when they'll do it, but I would be, if it was my goal, I mean, I think roster changes are hard even after like week 2 or 3.
Yeah. Let's go into the future because I think going on to that topic already, it's might as well let's talk about matchups for next week because right out the gate, C9 is going to be going up against Dignitas. So that's going to be an interesting one. At least you know what your matchup is. That is a guaranteed lock-in. Thoughts versus C9?
I think we can do pretty decent against them.
Mm-hmm.
We've scrimmed a couple times versus them, and we didn't necessarily get the better of them, but I've seen hope. I think we,
That's a
I think we have a good shot. I think we have a good shot. For me, the hardest matchup I've had so far has been Srtty,
Mhm.
to be honest, like in scrims. So I think going into C9, I'll have a pretty good good chance
It
against
makes you feel any better.
Dignitas.
Everyone else too, I think.
There we go.
I've never heard those words, but I would believe it. Just that, I mean, he does well when we scrim him, so I mean,
I get lucky.
yeah, I mean, it's hard to get
Just all
better.
luck.
Big fudge, big stick.
I mean, he low-key like played like the GOAT today. I don't even know. This guy
He
got,
really
he, got
did.
he got into prime form, and I was like, this guy is not the guy I scrimmed against.
Yeah, I was kind of stunned too. I said after game one, like, holy shit, Fudge, good work, man.
Yeah,
I was like talking
I was,
him
like,
up.
stun locked. When I saw
Why
him
you guys
play-
beat him?
When he played No Ambassador for the first wave, and I was like, why is he playing better than Thanatos did?
Yeah, I was kind of impressed today too, but yeah.
Well, on that topic, DSG versus FlyQuest, you're going to be going up against Gankos. Thoughts on that matchup?
One of us is going to lose in 20 minutes, no mercy.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a slugfest. Have you,
Yeah.
you guys play in scrims at all? Like, what's the vibe when you go up against Fly?
Kind of depends. Like, either one team wins really, really hard, or the other team wins really, really hard, and there's no in between.
Yeah.
I will say FlyQuest is the team we've thrown the least against.
Okay.
So when we get ahead, I feel pretty confident against them that we can close it out. But I think they have good players. I think that Griffin's champion pool is definitely something that needs to be taken into consideration. And I think that we're definitely the underdogs for the series. But I think if we play like we did this week, it might be tough.
Might
but
be.
we have a week.
True.
So
Going into the dungeon
Exactly.
practice.
I do think Fly is chaotic as hell. It's actually, I went in, I hadn't scrimmed against them, hadn't seen any, and I heard it too, but I was like, I mean, no, we'll see what happens. Scrim them, and these guys are like, it's actually like, in a loving way, it's like three crackheads and two very stable forces with
Yes.
Quad and Masu. These guys are so stable, it's really good. Probably underappreciated because
100%.
the three crazy players, they get a lot of credit when it goes well, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard to see like how much these guys do for their teams, especially Quad. I mean, I couldn't appreciate how much work he does for that team from watching.
I mean, even us on FlyC in 2024, like, he looked like the best player in the league by far, but
Yeah.
he was doing a lot.
Yeah, even when they announced the team and you saw a little bit of it, he's obviously the most mature person in the room. And then the gameplay is another thing. Like, he's a complete opposite to the rest of the team. Him and Masu. But though Masu, if he gets his picks, he'll play a little crazy too.
Yeah, they're not afraid to play aggressive. I think they just do a really good job of filling the like veteran role within that team, and it seems like it really enables them. They are good.
Yeah. We talked about Lyon a little earlier. You were going to be going up against him, Zeyzal. Thoughts on the matchup, especially versus them with Armeo? Open that up a little bit.
Well, I would still stand by better jungle will win, but really I do think like head-to-head bot lane, I'd hope they're better than us, just
Yeah.
because, I mean, we're subbing me in. They were competing against HLE up to game 5 just 3 weeks ago.
But now
very
they're going up
recently.
against Peak Zaria.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but they also, did they go up against Kyria?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, well, I guess they don't know yet. I mean,
T1 lost to G2.
Yeah.
Then they
Hi.
beat G2.
Yeah.
well, that indirectly. I mean, they haven't beat Zarya yet. They just beat Kyria, they beat G2, beat Kyria.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, maybe I still got a chance. I mean, we'll have to see, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna cope either way. Just to, put my jungler to the flame. I'm gonna say better jungle will win.
Yeah.
You gotta attack the ego of junglers. That's how you get them.
I like
Goated
that.
take.
Yeah,
That's a
it
really
really
good
is. That's how you get any jungler to perform. You like slightly imply that it's their fault if they lose. They never want to accept that, but it'll work out. I think.
He'll be on his best behavior.
I'm feeling good about next week.
Denathor, I'm going to ask you for a matchup that none of us is going to represent, so we got the good one on this one. Team Liquid versus Sentinels.
I think Team Liquid will take that pretty easily.
Yeah.
I don't think Sentinels. We didn't perform that well yesterday. We had some pretty rough game 2 and 3. I think in game 3 we're down 4K at 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Pretty rough stuff. A team like won't let that happen. I think they'll take it pretty easily.
All right. I love it. Appreciate you guys for joining me. That's our first episode in summer. And hopefully we'll be seeing you guys in Atlanta in the finals. We'll be seeing you guys in Mexico City too. A lot of traveling. But thank you guys. Appreciate it. Check out the podcast and all audio venues from Apple, Spotify, YouTube. See you guys in episode 2.
See you guys.